This is the Speak Your Peace podcast, a podcast for the people where we believe by speaking your truth, you can help others find their peace. I am your host, Kaleem Slayton, and I want to thank you for listening in. Be sure to find us on Instagram at __ Speak Your Peace. Let's go. Again, we want to thank you, everybody, for joining the Speak Your Peace podcast. We have 3 special guests today. I am Kaleem Slayton, your host, and to my left, we have the one and only
Shakira Clark, a.k.a. Shaq. Good morning, everyone. Kaleem, thank you so much for having me be a part of this so important conversation. I am a multicultural queer, and I am from Toronto, Canada.
I love Toronto.
Yes, Toronto's nice.
Love that.
And then in front of me and to my right, we have...
Hello, everyone. My name is Travion Torbett, a.k.a. Trey, and I am me. That's all I can be. Yeah.
And last but not least...
You know, the one and only Kenyon Isaac, a.k.a. Ken, you know, I'm just that girl. So...
Okay, so, quick question. Shaq, we were having a conversation about a week ago, and I was like, well, Shaq, you identify as gay. And you said, no, I identify as queer. Can you explain to me, the difference?
Yeah, so when I first decided, I knew I was always attracted to women. When I knew I was like, something's wrong, Shaq, there's no way that you're extremely attracted to women growing up in a Christian household. So to fit the narrative growing up, I was like, I'm a stud. That makes sense for me, and that's what I seen. So I was like, I'm a stud. So in other words, I was dressing the way a stud would dress, whatever that means now, acting the way a stud would act, so more masculine and more dominant. And then I realized, this is not me. It came off non-loving. I didn't know who I was. And then I decided that I own my identity. I don't have to be confined to an identity or a narrative based off of cis individuals that don't understand LGBT folks. So I'm queer, right? Because I think a lot of people have this understanding of what being LGBT is. So when I identify as a lesbian, folks already understood what that meant. And now I get to own and I have autonomy over what my identity is, and now it allows me to have deeper conversations with folks about what my identity means, and they're not having this pre-notion about what my identity means. I get ownership of what that looks like and feels like. So that's why I'm queer, because I get to own it, right? And no one could label me on it. So yeah.
So you feel like when you first when you first started out, you were trying to be a stud, but that wasn't you.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was horrible. It was, and I think growing up, coming into the community, when I mean community, the LGBT community, the queer community, there's this image that you have to portray yourself to be a part of that community. So growing up, I was just like, oh my God, I knew I'm a part of this community. How do I get a part of it, right? It's just like when you see now, the rap culture, you see all these celebrities drinking and smoking and doing drugs to be a part of that community. And at one point, I thought that's what I had to do to be a part of it.
Okay.
But that wasn't it. It was you could be queer and you could be yourself. You don't
it's
have
I can dress like this, and I may resemble the characteristics of a stud, but I don't have to act or be a stud.
Correct. And
Gotcha.
and I'm not a stud by any means. I am a queer individual that just hits the game strong.
Love that.
Love that.
Right? And that's what makes it beautiful about who I am and how I navigate the world, is that people see me as multiple individuals, right? But I get to dictate how people see me and how I act in certain environments based off my social location. That's the beauty about being queer.
And what about, excuse me, say your names again for me?
Ken.
Ken and
Trey.
So Ken and Trey, how do you both identify?
Well, like I said before, I identify as me. I feel like labels box you off in a certain category to where you have to be what you're labeled as. And I feel as if I overexceed the characteristics and the dynamics of what I am. I don't have to.
I know that's right.
I don't have to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, look a certain way. One day I can be very masculine. The next day I can be very in the middle. The next day I can get very, very much fish.
What's fish?
Fish is very feminine, very much hair, makeup, nice beat face, a nice
beat,
teeth.
like everything.
Giving a very...
I can give that, but by me being myself, such as Shaq just said, I get to dictate how I act, how I look, how I present myself. And it's the best feeling in the world because I don't have to go out now and be like, okay, you're gay. No, sweetheart, I'm not. You are you, I'm me. We're two different people. You're in your category, I'm in my own category, boxed off to where no one can touch, tamper, nor destroy what I have going on.
Okay.
So that's how I identify.
And Ken?
But I don't like labels either,
Okay.
so I just identify as Kenyon. I had a situation yesterday, and my dad's ex-wife asked me, do I identify as a woman now? I said, no, I identify as male, but at the same time, I'm me. I just wear wigs,
Nails is popping, by the way.
Thank you, you know what I'm saying? Just a quick 1-2 on the girls. They don't know. Nails, lashes. I'm just me. I love myself too much to be trying to. Don't get me wrong. I still like girls. Give me a quick 1-2 and a quick
Straddle the fence, why don't you?
Your little tongue action. But,
oh my God. Oh my God.
I still find females attractive, and I love that about myself. I don't like just one sex. Why not have the best of both worlds?
Why not?
Why not?
I saw a lot of people. Did y'all see the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones stand up?
No, thank
I did
you.
not.
Y'all did?
I'm sorry to that man.
I'm sorry to this man.
I'm so sorry to that man.
Why you say that?
Certain stand-up comedians nowadays,
If it's not giving it very Monique,
or very much, what's his name? Lavelle Crawford. That's my favorite stand-up comedian. He is hilarious to the most hilarious ways. But majority of the stand-up comedians now, it's a hit and miss now.
I know a lot of people felt some type of way about his stand-up when he was talking about like riding in a car with the lesbian and the gay person as well as the queer. Did you if you watched it, he has a skit like that, and a lot of people felt some type of way about it. And his response was like, well, it was a transgender person in the crowd who found it more funny than anybody. But he was receiving all this backlash for it. So that's why I was curious to see if you had seen it and how you felt about it.
I mean, I don't watch too much of that. I think cis people, and when I mean cis people,
What's cis?
Cisgender people, so individuals that are biologically born a male and self-identify as a male. So
I would be considered cis.
I would call you a straight cisgender male.
Okay.
So meaning that you are identified as straight, you are biologically born a man, and you self-identify as a man.
Okay.
Right? I think you all have unearned privileges, right? So I think when having these conversations, you all don't notice that you are being offensive, homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, because you don't have to. You're existing and living in a world that really caters to you, supports you. Supports your identity. You're safe everywhere. When I mean safe, I mean that you can have these conversations and nothing's gonna happen to you, right? You can walk the streets and nothing's happening to you, right? You're not really looking over your shoulder, so you're unconsciously not aware of it. It's just like saying for white folks who are navigating the world, right? They're not seeing things because it's not happening to them, to their community, right? So some of the things they say is like, one, they don't know, they're not aware. And they don't know they're offensive because it's just not happening to them. So it's just like same thing with, and I'm not saying all straight people are that way. Yeah, I'm not saying all straight people are that way, but some straight people are comfortable in that position because they have privilege, and no one wants to lose their privilege, right?
I know people, just like myself, for example, like sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to say the wrong thing. And I think, you know me, I've known you for 10 years now. We had a conversation, and I said transsexual, or it said transgender, and you were like, it's not transsexual, it's transgender. What's the difference? Because to me, it's just like, I don't know. And sometimes you feel like you're walking on eggshells and you don't want to be offensive.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think one thing is like not knowing and then deliberately using terminology,
ignorance,
and then say, oh, I don't know. I just used to say this. No, like get it right. Like my friends know,
or try to get it right.
Yes, my friends know that I do not tolerate individuals that are homophobic, transphobia, period. Like nothing. For me, transsexual is an outdated term. A lot of individuals, so like individuals that are like now like 40 and 50 and 60, and maybe some of the individuals that are close to high 30s are using transsexuals. Like if they identify as a transsexual, then they're gonna use it. But the more dated and a best way to identify a trans person is using transgender. So if you see an individual saying transgender female, transgender man, just asking them, like, that is the most appropriate thing to do.
And sometimes now the word transsexual is an offense word.
It is very much
And
so.
they use it as a word to either target or bring down that category or bring down that person. And like Shaq said, it's an outdated term, but it's also being a word that is bringing a negative connotation to the table.
Okay.
Correct. Very
So,
much so.
what would you say is the hardest part about just being you? Like, have you had people call you different types of names?
People who look at me and they see me, their number one favorite word is "you faggot." And before the word used to offend me, if I would hear the word, my number one reaction would be like, okay, let's fight, let's step in the field. But now,
Because he like,
My
look, you
favorite
call me
sentence-
what you want, but I
Yeah,
can still get down.
exactly. And the thing
my favorite
is,
sentence is, don't let this gay shit fool you.
do not let it fool you. And like I said, my thing is, don't let the bad bitchery fool you. And the thing is, that word now, if you was to call me a faggot right now, I will laugh in your face. Because
Literally.
the thing is, I'm
Comfortable with who I am.
strong enough now to know that, okay, faggot is nothing but, in the dictionary, a group of twigs. A group of twigs. Am I a group of twigs? I'm a human being. I am me. That's all I can be. I've been brought down. I've been jumped. I've been criticized. All that now, I push it over my shoulder.
You ain't been jumped just because you are you.
Just because I was
Just
gay.
because.
I've been stabbed. Like
Sheesh.
Saw that.
I've
She
been
said, "How old are
all
you?"
this. I'm only 20.
Jump
So-
stab.
I mean, he is a city girl.
Yeah.
No shade.
no shade, no pink lemonade.
I feel like
Him,
to
Canada,
touch up,
city girls.
you know.
Well,
To touch up on the situation, I feel as if most people try to fit in with straight cis. It doesn't click for me because you try to be the person you're not. Like, you're mad at me because I'm comfortable with who I am, basically, and you're not. You're DL, you're in the closet, and you nitpick with me is basically you trying to flirt with me, and that's not cute.
And the thing is, nowadays, when I see people trying to bring me and my twin down, it's just like, okay, but you were just trying to throw slight little hints that you wanted us the other day.
Yikes.
But when you're in front of your friends,
But you can't say, are y'all really twins?
No, we're not.
Oh.
But we just call each other twins. We have a very, very close relationship. If anything was to happen, 1 + 1 is 2. If my twins swing, I'm swinging too. But what I've been seeing lately is like just people are just negative, like negative connotation, negative attitudes, and it's like, I'm sorry that you're not happy with who you are. If you think that because you're unhappy, you're gonna make me unhappy, I'm so sorry to this man. I'm
I
so
love
sorry.
everyone. I love everyone. I don't have no beef with nobody. I'm a lovable person. Everyone loves me because I am who I am. So I love everyone.
And I think for me, like, and then I'm speaking from an I statement, and when I hear the word faggot to me, I don't think it's a very extremely offensive word, and it's used to target people that are part of the LGBT community or the queer community.
It's kind of like I'm labeling you that community, and I'm trying to say something to hurt you.
For me, it's like as offensive as a white person used the N word. So if a white person was in this room and called you a nigger, like, that's extremely offensive. There's a lot of history behind that word, and that's the same thing with the word faggot. LGBT community, there's a lot of history behind it. I think a lot of people don't see the connection. And some folks think, like, especially in pop culture, like, the N word is sometimes appropriate depending on who you are, and where you are, depending on whatever your race or ethnicity is. And I think that also is for individuals that use the F word too. And I don't even like to say it. That's how offensive it is for me in regards to